What is going on, guys? Andrew Pillick here, entering the first episode of the What's Good in Wrestling podcast. I'm here with the other host of this podcast, Britton Harrison. How's it going, man?
It's going well, man. I appreciate, you doing this with me. This is going to be a lot of fun. I feel like, what we were talking about the other day, like you and I have so much to talk about. And this is just like, this is going to be awesome, man. Like I'm genuinely so excited.
Yeah, man, me too. And for a lot of people who are probably first time listeners to the both of us together, we have done this a ton of times, dating back to like a really long time ago. Like I can't remember how long ago it
Yeah.
was, but
At least, yeah, at least doing videos together since like 2011, 2012, coming up on
yeah.
like 10 years.
Yeah, that's actually insane. So we've done a few podcasts. We had a podcast that we called Wrestle Talk TV because we were uneducated, that we got notified that we could have been sued over the name, and the logo was actually quite similar, which we didn't really know. Um, but yeah, we didn't get sued, so all is good. And here we
Thank
are,
goodness.
yeah, years
Yeah.
later, doing this again. We've been in different groups together in the YWC, the YouTube wrestling community. And now we're doing a podcast all these years later because, I mean, of course we are. Like, we had to. So,
Got it. One of these is going to stick, I
yeah,
feel like
one of
this is the
them.
one.
Yeah, one of them's gonna stick. This is the real YWC evolution. We are finally back, and I can't wait to do this, man. Like it's like you said, like I'm really excited too. We've actually talked about this a few times before, but we never like really just did it. And now there's just so much to talk about, and we're gonna get going with this. So hopefully, you guys, if you are new here, make sure to like this, subscribe. Let us know what we can do better the next time. Let us know what we're doing right. We've got a ton of really cool ideas for you guys that you will see very soon, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Like if you're a wrestling nerd like us, then you're going to love this channel. So um, definitely make sure to stick around here. But we need to just get right into it. Honestly, it's the best way to do it. So I think I want to let you start off with this one because we need to talk about Kevin Owens. There's been a lot going on with Kevin Owens, maybe not on screen, which is unfortunate, but behind the scenes. So let the viewers know what's going on with Kevin Owens.
Yeah, so I think this is the perfect first topic for us because you and I, that's both of our favorite wrestlers, Kevin Owens, even back to the Kevin Steen days. I've got his first figure back here hanging out of the WrestleMania Cup,
I could see it.
and yeah, man, it's just when he came in, it was surreal because it was like the biggest star on the Indies at the time, and everybody for so long was like, oh, if Kevin Steen went to WWE, they'd water him down. He wouldn't be that version of himself, but like he came in and he dominated Sami Zayn, went up to the main roster in like 2 months. He beat John Cena once, and then Cena had to beat him twice. But
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. Um, but yeah, he went in and he had a hell of a Universal title run. For a while, I would have considered him the greatest Universal champion of all time until recently. And then it's he's turned a babyface, and I just feel like since that Roman feud, he's been dead in the water. And whether he stays or whether he goes, I feel like the next like 3 months are going to be very interesting, especially with what we saw on Raw last night. I think that's really planting the seeds for a Kevin Owens heel turn, which he desperately needs, because when Kevin Owens is a heel, when he's got it on 11, he's one of the most charismatic, one of the most entertaining people on the entire roster. So I'm looking forward to it. And if something happens and he decides that he's not happy there and he wants to move on somewhere else, I'm excited to see that too, man. So
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up perfectly, man. It's just like there's a level of excitement for you and I, and I'm sure a lot of other Kevin Owens fans whenever he's involved in something that's actually like, credible and something that's going to be on television on a week to week basis. But his segment, or I guess like his promos that he was running back and forth with Big E, when he was talking about whether it's 3 months or 3 years that he was going to go out there and excite the WWE universe or something along the lines of performing at the top level for the WWE universe. And then of course Biggie, like you were mentioning to me before we started recording, he mentioned like the Mount Rushmore. So like, back to what is that, like the Ring of Honor days, right? Or PWG.
Yeah, yeah, either one
So
really.
so it's like he's planting the seed of like, is he gonna leave in 3 months or is he signing like a 3-year deal? Because that was the other thing I was starting to think of was like, is he like teasing that he's already re-signed a contract? Because it almost seemed like too obvious when he was like putting in his Twitter bio, like he was leaving soon. Like what was it that he put in there? Like he said like
Almost
almost
there.
there. Right. He said almost there. And then like the Bucks, I think the Young Bucks also like had responded to that as well. So I was like, this is almost too obvious. You know what I mean? Like it's almost too obvious, but I mean, even with Adam Cole, it was like, oh, this is too obvious. Then he left. With Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, this is too obvious, but then he left. CM Punk, it was like whatever. We knew that was gonna happen. But like Kevin Owens, it's like, is it going to be another too obvious moment, or is it going to be, oh, like he's here to stay?
And that's tough, man, because like I've had that conversation with myself a couple of times, and it's like if he goes to AEW, like I don't want him to be, doing what Adam Cole's doing right now. And if Adam Cole's having fun doing what he's doing, the more power to him. But I just don't think people want to see Kevin Owens or Kevin Steen in that role. And I feel like if he goes there, that's unfortunately what's going to happen. But if he stays in WWE and keeps doing what he's doing, stock's just going to keep going down.
Yeah.
What I really want to see is I'd like for him to stay in WWE, but I'd like for him to turn heel, and I'd like for him to get back to that 2016, even 2015 Kevin Owens, because that brought so much life like into Raw whenever he debuted. Like I remember watching it, like the crowd wasn't that crazy about it whenever he debuted. I'm not sure if a lot of them were familiar with him on Raw, but like I remember the reaction from the internet. Like that was a really big moment,
Yeah.
and he shifted a lot of things, and it's sad to see that like they don't have really that many plans for him. But if he stays, if he turns heel, I think the future could be bright for him.
Yeah, I think you're right. He has to turn heel. Like, I mean, he's a decent baby face, probably in the eyes of Vince and the people backstage, just because like he gets the crowd hype no matter what. Like the crowd pops for him no matter what. Like he's still Kevin Owens, but it's like I think that there's just another, like you said, there's another level to him when he's not just like, oh, like, hey, here I am to save the day again, like whatever. Like that's not him. Like in all fairness, like if he's having fun, then like you said with Adam Cole, like that's great. But at the same time, like he's just another guy when he's Kevin Owens. You know what I mean? Like fight
Yeah.
everybody. Like literally, that's what he does. Like he just beats the crap out of everybody. That's what he does. He pisses people off. He's got like a really good offense when I feel like his heel work is better in the ring also. Like he has a different type of move set also, that I've noticed. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he uses a lot of different moves when he's in his heel bag. You know what I mean? So um I'm really curious to see where he goes from here, because I do agree with you that he should, be pushed a little bit more into like the more credible like main event type scene, because that stuff with Roman was really good. And if he got the opportunity to work in a storyline that made sense and he was a heel, you never know where that could take him, where that could take the company, because when he's also providing good content, WWE also gets more viewership because people like watching Kevin Owens. So I'm just hoping that they give him something to do. Now, let's just say hypothetically, in 3 months, he ends up going over to AEW. Or whatever it is. Is 3 months like the end of his deal, or is 3 months when the 90-day would be up? Because I feel like the 3 months is when his month or his deal would be up, and then he would have to wait another 3 months. So it'd be like 6 months from now.
Yeah. So with the Adam Cole thing, like his contract expired, so he didn't have a 90-day compete clause at the end of it.
Oh,
So if their contract expires, they don't have to wait. They could literally be on Raw one day. It could expire at 12 o'clock Monday. They could be on AEW on Wednesday.
okay. Because I was always under the impression that your contract expires and then you have to wait an additional 90 days. But
Yeah, I think that's just if you're released.
okay, because yeah, okay, yeah, that would make sense, because I think with Daniel Bryan too, like he probably could have went to AEW right away, but he took a bit of time off, I believe, right? So
Yeah.
um yeah, no, See, now that adds a different element to it, because I was still under the impression that he would have to wait an additional 3 months. So, man, wouldn't it be something if he just showed up, like literally in 3 months, just was like, you know what, screw it, and came out? Now, I would like to see him. And again, this is where it gets interesting, because do you just have him come in as like the neutral, like not heel, not babyface, like the Kevin Steen, like where he just, he's just Kevin Steen and he doesn't care about anybody, and go after like Kenny Omega, because he'll probably still be the champion, or I mean, he'll still be in a main event, some sort of main event storyline? Or does he, go the route of like a Miro, and he's like a mid card guy that still, puts on a good product?
I feel like he would kind of go back to like before he was, whenever he was in WWE, before he got to WWE, excuse me, not all tongue tied. But whenever he was just like didn't give a crap, Kevin Steen beat the crap out of everybody in ROH, and it probably won't be as extreme because he probably can't say mother effer or anything like
Yeah.
that, like he would like to say on TNT. But I feel like he could get back to that, but I just worry so much that like they'll try to put him in like a Mount Rushmore thing, and then it'll just be the super elite, and then here's all these guys that could go on and literally be putting on 5-star matches every night, dressing up as Ghostbusters and dressing up as basketball players.
Yeah, see, the only way something like that works is if it's long-term storytelling where you have him like turn on them at some point. But I feel like that's already the route that they're going to be and like going with Adam Cole eventually. Like I don't think that it's going to be like Adam Cole with the elite for like the next 2-3 years. I feel like it's going to be like, oh, like down the line there's going to have to be some sort of payoff, because Adam Cole is one of the best wrestlers on this planet. So he can't just be in the elite and wrestle as a part of the elite and be in a like a faction for the rest of his career, because he's already like, unfortunately in my eyes, I mean, I feel like he's just better than that at this point. And I know some people would probably look at that and frown upon something like that, but like Adam Cole by himself gets it done, in my opinion. Like he didn't need Undisputed Era either. That was fantastic, but like he can do it by himself. I mean, Adam Cole's over because he's Adam Cole, not because he's in a faction. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it makes it tough if Kevin Owens goes over there and then he joins them, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, who's turning? Is it going to be Kevin Steen or is it going to be Adam Cole? So I mean, that could add another element of surprise, I guess. You might get something good out of that, but he needs to go in there and just literally destroy everybody. Like, I would love for him to just literally, the show starts, Kenny Omega and the Elite are cutting a promo in the ring. Car pulls up, like goes backstage, and literally he just starts running like through the entire roster, just beating the piss out of everybody. Comes out to the ring, beats the crap out of the Elite. Like, that's how I would book it. Like, literally just have him come in there and be like, yo, like, this is AEW is the Kevin Steen show now. You know what I mean? But
I want that so bad, but it's
like, I mean,
just
I want him to stay in WWE though. Like, to be honest with you, like, I agree with you. Like, unless that, and see, this is where we're getting too greedy as fans though, because we're like, oh, he has to be in the main event or else we're not going to mess with it. You know what I mean? We're,
right.
we're, we're a little biased here. You know what I mean? Like, we're both big fans. So,
Yeah.
um, it becomes more of like we're the bias of like we just want to see him succeed, which I mean, you always want to see your favorite wrestler succeed, but um I don't know. It's going to be something for us to definitely keep an eye on in the next few months. If there's more teasing throughout their promos, you can almost guarantee he's probably going to stay, because I don't think Vince or anybody would let him like continually tease that he's going to leave or whatever if he wasn't, staying already, because it
Right.
would look really bad on them if he was like cutting promos on that he was going to leave and then he just left. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
uh,
like in 3 months, I'm gone from here. I'm going to
yeah.
go into another show and I'm just going to talk all the crap I can.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know what? I feel like he wouldn't do that. Like I
Nah.
feel like he's loved his experience in WWE, unless, we're not seeing something, which is very possible. But I would think that he's enjoyed his time. He's had a lot of success, but like you said, recently it hasn't been going his way.
Yeah. And I mean, you do have something with him. You've proven that time and time again. So I don't know why you don't tap into that. There's so much.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't feuded with like so many guys there that he probably could feud with, and that Roman feud was just so damn good. Like it was so good. I mean, even with the low key botched finish where like Roman was like handcuffed and like he technically should have won the match, but
It's like, Paul,
um
the keys.
yeah, it's like come on, just give me the damn keys. But no, like I think that there's still a lot more to give in terms of him having, you know, storylines. I mean, hell, he probably could have even made that Logan Paul storyline work. So like the guy just makes anything work.
Yeah.
um but yeah, no, we'll definitely have to keep updating. Like that's the good thing about this podcast is like we'll be able to keep updating you guys, and you guys can update us too. Our Twitters are going to be on the screen right now. To make sure to go follow us there, tweet us if you have anything. We'll consider like maybe having our own podcast Twitter maybe as well. It might be a good idea, to be honest. Like who knows where this show will take us. So we'll try to keep you guys in the loop as much as possible, and hopefully you guys can do the same for us. Switching gears a little bit, I guess we could talk about another guy that's kind of um, you know, in the rumors and the talks right now, and that's Bray Wyatt, another guy that I personally really love. I think that he's fantastic. Seen his Fiend debut at SummerSlam. I was lucky enough to be in the audience. Just chills. Like no bias at all. Like I already loved him as Bray Wyatt, but when he came out, like I promise you, like there were so many people of all ages just like looking at each other and like, whoa, like this is something. Like this means something. And then when he got released, I genuinely was upset. Like I genuinely was upset.
Yeah. That's just another one of the biggest, arguably, wasted opportunities that they have ever had. That was a money printing machine.
Yep.
I still go into Five Below. I don't know if you have Five Below in Canada,
No.
but it's like a $5 and under store. I still see like Bray Wyatt and the Fiend masks. I still see Fiend merchandise like in Walmart. They made so much merch. The guy was making so much money, and they say, oh, he was difficult to work with. I wonder why. You know, you look at Hell in a Cell last year, and he gets hit in the head with, what was it, a sledgehammer
Yeah,
or
like a
a
mallet.
hammer? Yeah, and then there's a DQ and a Hell in a Cell match, the match that they make, you know, damn well to everybody who listens that it's the most satanic structure that's ever been created, and nothing goes. Then you're going to disqualify the guy. That killed it right then and there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, you know, maybe it can be salvaged, but we've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
We've seen it a few times, and you know, he won the Universal title, but did he have any memorable matches other than with Daniel Bryan? And it's not his fault. It's truly not his fault. I believe he put everything he could possibly put into that gimmick and in the matches, and he wanted to make it work. It's just whenever the system is set up for you to fail, it doesn't matter how good your gimmick is. You're gonna fail. And
Yeah.
Vince, if Kevin Dunn doesn't like you, sorry, bud, you're done. And I hope he goes on. And if he decides to get out of the wrestling industry, I don't blame him, because the wrestling industry is, from what we've seen as fans, has kind of treated the guy like crap. But if he goes into horror movies, that's something that I'm really excited about, because like if he was doing this stuff on a PG show and like creeping these people out, like what could he do whenever there's no limits? When the guy's extremely talented, and
Yeah.
I really can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've been seeing that he's been taking some calls from Hollywood, according to some rumors that he could be looking into some acting. He might be going into Hollywood, which I mean, his promo work, everything like that is absolutely fantastic. Anybody that I've showed it to, like family that wasn't even into wrestling anymore, you know, they're still, you know, they were stuck with the old school stuff. They were like, oh, okay, this guy's something. Like he's got
Yeah,
it. Like he makes me want to watch. He was doing it as Bray Wyatt, and he did it as the Fiend. And again, like he got bounced by Goldberg, I believe, for the title, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like growing up, you and I both know there was so many big time superstars that like you would watch a pay-per-view and go, like somebody's got to beat this guy eventually, but like they're like undefeated, like you can't touch them. Like Cena at one point, and like for a long time, and people can hate on it all they want, but like Cena was like untouchable, and if you beat him, that guy rose to the top. Same thing with like Edge, Undertaker. Like at points, these guys were untouchable. They had the belt for as long as possible. And then when they finally got beat, whoever won that, they shot up. And it's like they're doing it with Roman now. Like eventually, whoever beats him, they're going to shoot up. But they could have done the same thing with the Fiend. Like he should have been undefeated for like over a year.
Yeah.
They didn't even have to put the belt on him right away either. They did, which I was okay with. They should have done it in Hell in a Cell, in my opinion, because any challenger that was put in front of him, he should have just beat. He should have destroyed them because he was built as an untouchable guy. Like what he did to Finn Balor at SummerSlam in his first ever match, he just destroyed him. Like literally one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like they were like, oh, like Finn Balor, great wrestler, amazing, whatever, the build up to that match. Then he just gets destroyed. And I'm thinking, okay, we knew Balor was going to take some time off and he did. But why couldn't you have just kept going with that? Like you had Seth Rollins, who again was untouchable at the time, destroy him. Like literally, he should have just whipped him around Hell in a Cell for 20 minutes, just beat the piss out of him, and then
Yeah.
pinned him, won the match, or choked him out, because that was like the cool finish, right? He was doing the
Right.
mandible claw, whatever. But they didn't go that route. Like you could have put him up against somebody at WrestleMania or a SummerSlam or a Royal Rumble, something like that, after a year of him having the belt and looking untouchable and then just losing. And then you go, oh my God, like he
Yeah.
lost. You know what I mean? And it still saves him because he's been undefeated for so long. Like he lost one match. Who cares? Whatever. He comes back and he beats everybody up, gets right back into the title picture. And then you have a new star. But they were like, oh no, like, we're gonna have him get disqualification and look a little soft against certain guys and then get squashed by Goldberg.
Yeah. And not even, it wasn't even just him that got destroyed. They ruined Rollins' whole face run with that. Once he started feuding with the Fiend, like everybody turned on him because the Fiend was the hot new toy.
Yeah.
Everybody loved that. And then whenever Seth goes and gets that what they would call a Super Cena treatment or something and goes in there and just beats him, that was the first mistake, putting him in the title picture, because a character like that doesn't need a title.
Yeah.
Even if he was still in WWE, if he would have never been put in the title picture, like if they would have just kept going on, he just feuds with somebody, he turns him heel, whatever, it would have been great. But then, you start adding the red light, and then you put him in the title picture, and then you just don't know what you're doing with him. And then his creation just becomes, something that Vince is just kind of messing with and seeing what he can make out of it. And it's just, it's so infuriating, especially when you watch somebody like Seth Rollins go and hit him with 20 curb stomps, or however many he hits, and then he goes and loses to a spear and a jackhammer from Goldberg. It's like it's insulting not only to him, but it's insulting to the fans, because we know better than that. Like we're not stupid. We know this stuff's not real, but like you could really
Yeah.
don't insult us like that.
See, the way I would have booked it, and this is something that I actually, this is just an idea I've come up with now. Like, hopefully, you and I can do like a rebooking type thing with certain time periods. I think we
Yeah.
briefly might have talked about that, but the way I would have um briefly rebooked the Fiend was maybe not have him, like you said, in the title picture right away. Like when I seen he was gonna get a title match, I was okay with it because I just figured he was gonna win. um, but then when he lost, I was kind of like, okay, like this doesn't really make sense. And then he just wins at the next pay-per-view, which was the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. Like it wasn't even
Mm-hmm.
like, no offense, but like, I mean, not a lot of people were even watching that. So the way I would have rebooked it was have him go through like a few like main roster guys. Like he beat Balor, which I mean, that's credible already. Have him beat like maybe an AJ Styles, but then I would go with maybe having him beat legends, like having him beat Randy Orton in like dominating fashion, have him beat like, oh, John Cena's come back, which he did to face him, but like have him come back in like the nobody can stop the Fiend, so we need Cena. They called in John Cena and he still beats him. Then it puts him in the title picture because he's destroyed all these people, including John Cena, which you can't hurt Orton or Cena. Those guys are always going to be legends. Orton could have got destroyed. He's still like the most over guy and nobody cares, right?
Right.
It's like, why didn't you do that? Have him eat a spear from Goldberg and then just stand right back up and then be like, no, not to the Fiend. Like this doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things in hindsight. Like you could do so many things, so many different ways, but ultimately, one person is pulling the strings. It seems like, and it's it legitimately just like gets me angry because we get so excited over stuff. It takes so much nowadays. It feels like to get wrestling fans like as a collective unit so excited over one particular thing, and then this is why people don't get excited for it anymore because we know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
and it's just sad. But like I said, I genuinely hope the guy finds happiness and success in whatever he does because the way he's been treated, he really deserves it.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm gonna support him whatever he does. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, I'm not a big horror film guy, but dude, if he goes into these horror films, I'm gonna be watching that.
Oh yeah,
He's a genius. He's literally, and that word gets tossed around a lot, but he's legitimately a genius. The guy just comes up with these amazing ideas. He's fantastic on the mic. His brain just works differently than other people. He can write. Like, he's just he's a guy, like you said, it's like free money. Like the guy just brings money. And I've heard some people say, oh, like, there's been talks of him going to Impact. And I'm kind of like, I talked with somebody at work and I was like, you know what? Like the guy brought up to me, he's like, well, they don't have a TV deal. And I'm like, just imagine if he was going there to like rebuild the company. You know what I mean? Like to be the centerpiece to rebuild the company.
yeah. That's something that I not particular about Bray Wyatt, but like that's something I've thought about a lot recently because WWE has so much talent. AEW has so much talent. When these people leave companies, it's like they go between the two. Like go to Impact. Like build. There's so many free agents right now. They could literally make Impact and build it back up from the ground up stronger than ever. You got people like Buddy Matthews now, Bray Wyatt. If I'm not a big Braun Strowman guy, but like he would bring eyes to the
Credibility.
product. Yeah, there's so many different ways they could go, and I hope Impact personally, like I want to see them succeed. I don't like the RIP TNA jokes. I want to see them do well, and now is the time. I think they just brought in the Iconics. They're the inspiration
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And they
They're
got the belts.
yeah. I mean that might not be big. It seemed big to a lot of people, but like they were pretty over in WWE. Like they had a lot of fans,
Yeah. when
and
when I was
yeah,
at SummerSlam, like the whole section was doing the iconic stuff, man. Like all the guys were like in there just like doing their gimmick and stuff. It was so funny, man. Like they're over. Like they really are,
yeah,
like you said.
and they're genuinely funny. Like,
Yeah.
but I
But
mean, yeah,
I don't know. The lands, like you said, the landscape of these two companies could like really change, especially like, and that Impact like AEW deal just like kind of ended or whatever, I guess. Like they're just not working together anymore. I just recently read that they're not going to be doing any more like crossover stuff.
that sucks.
Yeah, and I mean they didn't like, it seemed like there was a few AEW appearances on Impact, but like there was like more of like guys that went over to AEW. Like Ethan Page was on Impact and then now he's just an AEW guy. Like they basically just took him. So
Yeah,
it kind
like
of sucks.
yeah,
Um
Christian Cage he beats Kenny Omega for the TNA World Title on Rampage, and then I guess he lost it to Josh Alexander. I think at Bound for Glory, and now I guess he's just running around backstage with Jurassic Express. I don't get that.
yeah. And did you see I believe it was Moose that like beat Josh Alexander in the same night too.
Yeah,
Did you
like they're
see
money. They
did
got
you
a Money
see
in the Bank
how,
or something.
yeah, like the call your shot or whatever thing. And it was crazy because Josh Alexander's family was like in the ring, like his daughter was like hugging him, and then like he just comes out and beats him and like stands over top with the belt over top of him and his daughter. I was like, this is heat, like this is real heat. I was
And
like, damn, I'm kind of interested. Like this is kind of crazy.
I didn't see how he did it, but I heard that he did it, and then I heard that he made like an anti WWE speech like to end the show.
Yeah, he did. He was saying like I don't care if you're the man or like this is like something about being a big dog, and like he was just, and like he even talked about being elite, like he talked about AEW and he was just like, I'm like the best or whatever. I'm like, okay, like
It's like,
whatever.
dude, you're Moose.
Yeah. Like like buddy, like you're good, but like, I'm sure Roman Reigns goes in there, he's
Yeah,
sunning you real quick.
yeah, you're not
Um
moving the needle, bud.
Yeah. Funny enough. Um, let's talk about this. I don't know if there's specific topics you want to talk about in terms of AEW and WWE, but I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on some of the guys that's moved over to AEW because you watch the show a little bit more than I do. Guys like Punk, Danielson, Cole, any of these guys that have moved over, like who's the guy that's like kind of impressed the most? Who's doing the most for AEW right now in terms of like, oh damn, like WWE definitely should have done more to bring that person back in or to re-sign them.
Right off the bat, Brian Danielson, he is going and putting on banger after banger. Of course, the first match with Kenny, then he had a match with Suzuki, he had a match with Bobby Fish that was good.
Yeah.
He hasn't missed since he came back, and he just it was Eddie Kingston he just faced on Rampage. Incredible match, and now it's looking like he's going to face John Moxley. Somebody literally might die in that match.
Yeah.
Because Moxley just goes out like he I don't know if you watched the first round where he of the world title eliminator bracket where he just beat the crap out of Dark Order's 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ripped the mask, and then he's got Orange Cassidy tomorrow on Dynamite. I'm a huge Orange Cassidy fan. One of my favorites in AEW. The guy's going to get demolished. He's going to get mollywopped.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to watch. But then, like, when it comes down to Moxley versus Danielson, of course, when they're standing in the ring looking at each other, everybody's going to go back to think, oh, wow, these guys were just in WWE not too long ago. They put on matches when they were in WWE. They were good, but the chains are off.
Yeah.
Like, these two like to beat the shit out of people.
Yep.
It is going to be, to quote JR, a slobber knocker. But I would say, to answer your question, Danielson has impressed the most, banger after banger. Punk, I would say, has been the biggest disappointment. And hear me out before
I agree.
people start typing. But he talks about, oh, if I went back to WWE, I would follow a formula. Buddy, look at the formula you're following right now. That every week you're getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Every week you're talking about how happy you are to be here, and it's like, yeah, we get that, but remind us why you're CM Punk. Remind us why we've changed your name for the past 7 years, because you just standing in the ring talking about how WWE almost killed you. Like, yeah, we understand that now, but like, it's time to move on from that and on to something else. Be an asshole. Be 2011 CM Punk. Yep. Go out there and turn it up to freaking 10, 11, 12, whatever you got to do. But it's not doing anything for anybody right now. His match with Darby was good, but you could tell that, he was a little shaken. And that, to him, like I told you the other day, in fairness to him, he has been away for 7 years, and he was used to a certain style whenever he was wrestling. So not only does he have to go and redo this stuff after 7 years, but it's a completely different style. And he got in there and he realized that really quickly when he knew that Darby wasn't going to slow down for him. And, the match with Hobbs was nothing special. He had a match with Daniel Garcia. It looks like he's going to face Eddie Kingston at Full Gear. I hope that Eddie Kingston brings something out of him and brings that old Punk back. I know you touched on that the other day.
Yeah.
But it's something's got to give with him. Otherwise, people are just gonna turn the channel when they see him. He's just another guy.
Yeah, because you're right though, because it's like the last time we seen CM Punk in WWE, he was the best in the world. Like, nobody could touch him. He had the best promo work, everything like that. And I think that it's like people are like, oh, when he wrestles, it needs to be special. And I'm like, when he gets on the mic, it needs to be special. Him getting interviewed all the time, like. Then when he picks up a microphone, I'm like, okay, it's not that special because I just seen it like 3 times in the past 2 weeks. Like, it's nothing special to me. And again, like I also, because of the whole straight edge thing, like I've always had like ties to Punk. Like I'm straight edge myself. Like I've always respected that, and it's something that I've been proud of. So it's like I don't hate CM Punk. I like CM Punk, but I want to see the real CM Punk. Like I want to see that, like you said. And what I was mentioning to Britain was when Eddie Kingston got in his face and got fired up and was like yelling at him, I was like, oh, Eddie Kingston knows what he's doing. He knows how to bring Punk out. Like, this is what CM Punk does. He matches the intensity and then he reminds you, oh, okay, I'm CM Punk. And he just stood there. And I'm like, Eddie Kingston probably was so pissed. Like he probably went by and was like, this was supposed to be a moment. Like I wanted this to trend on Twitter, but it was
Yeah,
just them standing there and he just left. I'm like,
yeah. Punk
this
looked
is
like he
not
was bothered
CM
to be
Punk.
there. Yeah, because Eddie was getting taken away, and he was like, "I'm disappointed in you." And the way you delivered it was just like, "Okay, you're just you can tell you're delivering a line, dude."
Yeah, I was like, come on, man. Like I was almost like thinking to myself, like maybe like he just wasn't feeling it. Like maybe he's like, like I just don't want to work with Eddie Kingston, which is pretty stupid because I mean Eddie Kingston can make you spit a good promo. Like you have to against Eddie Kingston. That guy's great on the microphone. So why like I don't get it. Maybe Punk's talking too much. Maybe he just doesn't have anything else to say right now. Like he's just talking too much.
I feel like that's the only way they can build up these matches when he has them, because he doesn't have a character, so it's not like he's going out there and like interrupting guys' promos or anything like that. I don't even think he's in like their top 5 rankings right now. So I mean, I get that that's the only way to build up an opponent for him, but that you could do something else.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Like,
I was go ahead.
no, I was going to say even if he's just on commentary,
Yeah.
anything other than just being in a backstage random interview, that defeats. It's just worthless. It's pointless.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried when Darby was his first opponent because like just seeing like I've only just, recently started to really learn how that guy works. But like you said, like he's like quick. Like he moves. Like that guy does not slow down. And I was like, oh boy, like Punk is really gonna have to do some cardio because this guy eats cardio for breakfast. Like there's
Yeah,
nothing about this guy that slows down. So I don't know, since he's come back, I think that you're gonna start to see him wrestle more guys that have like the same style as him and probably a little bit of a different pace because Punk can pick it up like during a match. Like Punk can hit that second gear and go nuts, but it's like they're little pockets of a match. Like when Cena and Punk wrestled at Money in the Bank, like that wasn't like an overly quick match. It was just storytelling. That's what Punk is good at doing. Punk can storytell. Cena can storytell. Brian Danielson can storytell and move quick or slow, whatever pace. Like that's why he's one of the best in the world. So I want to see him face guys that are in storytelling, slowed down, quick pockets in the middle of the match, that type. You know what I mean? Like a Christian Cage, he's a master at that. You know what I mean? I'd love to see them just lock up for a little bit. Who cares? Let them go at each other. But
yeah,
there has to be a story behind it for Punk to really shine, in my opinion. And if Punk doesn't have a storyline, then it's kind of like it's just another match. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I mean, we'll have to see because on the other side, you've got, a guy that keeps getting called out by AEW talent and Roman Reigns, who right now is an untouchable guy. He's got the Universal Championship and he's storytelling and also performing well in the ring. So am I wrong for again, I have a bias. I'm a WWE fan at heart first, of course, but am I wrong for being like, why are these guys like continually taking shots at Roman Reigns? Like, what, like, are they just wanting some clout or something? Like, I don't get it. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean that's I can't. I feel like that's always been the thing. Whenever anybody's in a rival wrestling promotion, we saw it with TNA in the early 2000s. Like any chance somebody gets to just WWE, they get it, even if they haven't been there before. And it's like, okay, whenever everybody does it, it takes away the brunt of it, or the effect of it. It seems like, and I don't know what their thing is. I know Roman claps back at him.
You
Some of his
should.
clapbacks are brutal, man. He was saying that Punk never moved the needle like The Rock. He wasn't as over as he thought he was. Like I'm a big Roman guy. I have been for a minute, but like
Me too.
this new Roman is just best thing in wrestling and
It
has been for
is.
quite a long time.
I know, like people are like, oh, like I'm always tuned in to see CM Punk and Brian Danielson. It's like, yeah, we all are, but it's like you can't sit here and be like, oh, well, Roman's no good. Like, no, like Roman's like been carrying the business for a little bit now. Like there's been some really crappy programming, and people are waiting to see the big dog. Like literally, like they're like the
Yeah,
head of the table. Like Roman was literally the head of the company. Okay. Like the guy's just been like moving the needle. I literally like he's
yeah,
saved so many episodes of SmackDown. He saved so many pay-per-views just by the presence. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
his work, and we got to give credit to Paul Heyman, and we also need to give credit to the Usos. They've all been so damn good in those storylines. Like the Usos add another element. Paul Heyman adds another element. The Bloodline is just again, like people talk about factions. And again, I'll take all the heat. I don't really care if you tell me I can have the Bloodline or the Elite. I'm taking the Bloodline. I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
taking the Bloodline,
100%,
bro. Like
100%.
Paul Heyman on the mic, the Usos again. I'm taking all the heat. We both can. The Usos,
Yeah,
best tag team on the planet, in my opinion. The best, character in the business right now, like Roman, dude. Like, who's touching those guys?
it's crazy when you can have a world title reign for well over a year and like nobody's tired of it,
Nope.
and nobody's been tired of it. He was putting on great matches with Jey Uso, and I literally I hope he doesn't lose it until WrestleMania 39 in LA. If he does lose it at all, he should keep it at least until then, because that's, I guess, when they're going to do the Rock match. Literally, like, keep it the rest of this year, keep it all next year, because who's going to beat him? He's beating everybody. I don't want to see anybody on the current roster beat him who hasn't faced him already. I don't want Drew to win the Rumble and beat him at WrestleMania, because I don't think Drew is the. I feel like that would do nothing but bad for Drew in the eyes of the fans. And but at the same time, like, who's going to beat him? Who?
Yeah. Dude, this could be a show in itself. We would have to go up and down the roster and like really be like, okay, like who's the guy to do it, you know? Um,
I
dude,
thought Big E. I thought Finn. I for sure thought Demon Finn, but they did it a little early. I thought maybe Kevin Owens could be a guy, but he was literally like his first opponent or one of them.
yeah. Dude,
I don't know, man.
Demon Finn was the most realistic to me. And then that
Yeah,
top rope thing happened, and what happens after that? Like nothing, I guess.
yeah. I thought he was going to beat him for sure, because like they were outside, and then like the red lights came on, and like the heartbeat stuff started, and then his music starts playing. He goes up to the top rope. I'm thinking like they're making a huge moment right here. Why is it at Extreme Rules? And then somebody cuts the rope.
Dude, I was like, okay, they're just gonna say it's the Usos, or like I told you, it's gonna be like some John Cena angle or something like that. And then it's like, oh, like it just the rope broke. Like
Nobody ever explained it.
like the rope literally just broke. And then it's like it was too realistic. They're like, yeah, like the ring broke and whatever. Roman just
It's
beat him.
literally it's literally never happened before. And there was this video I saw on Twitter that apparently, like, one of the stagehands or whatever, like, when it got kind of really dark in there, and they jumped up real quick and like
I seen
unhooked it.
that.
Yeah, but I mean that's the biggest explanation we got. We couldn't have even been like, oh, that was so and so under a mask. That was Seth Rollins. It could have been anything, but no, Roman just puts the call in and takes care of business.
Listen, man, if they see, and you know what the funny thing is if they would have went that route, that would have been fine with me. Like have it be like, Roman, you see Roman in the distance, like plant Easter eggs. Like somebody's doing a backstage interview and you just see Roman come out with like some cash for the same guy in the hood. You know what I mean? Like do some little Easter egg things. Have Paul Heyman, pat somebody on the back as he's walking by. Like do it every week. You know what I mean? For
Even
like a
if it's
month.
subtle,
Like,
it's
yeah,
something.
just quick little Easter eggs, man. Like, and then way down the line, maybe you have Finn again come up and be like, yo, I never lost that match because of me. I lost it because of somebody got paid off to do your dirty work. And then boom, you're right back into it. But you already ruined the demon because that, like you said, that moment, dude, when he started doing that, like he was like basically like the pulse or whatever, and then like he got up in the music. I'm like, oh boy, like they're really doing this. Like this is dope. Like this is the most believable thing I've seen. Now, the other thing was too is I thought Brock coming in was just obviously to compete against AEW at the time. So I'm kind of sad that the whole Brock thing was like kind of like a one-off and whatever. Because dude, Brock and Roman is money. Like people can say what they want about Brock, dude. That guy is just brings ratings, and he's so good in the ring. Like I don't want to hear nobody tell me Brock is not good in the ring. He sells. His moves are dope. Like he's a monster. That's his job. He's the OG monster. Like he is
Yeah.
literally the guy that beats the shit out of people. Like literally, that's his job. So
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
think I think he's definitely top five all time. Like in terms
Damn.
of everything, character, selling, wrestling skills, everything. Whenever you
Wow.
look at everything he's done, and if he would have never left, this is a whole nother thing, a whole nother episode we could make if Brock never left WWE, because we wouldn't have Cena as we knew him. We probably wouldn't have Orton as we knew him. And the whole landscape of the company just would have been shifted. Imagine Brock in 2007 feuding with CM Punk, or 2009, whenever Punk's on the straight edge society stuff. There's so much but I'm appreciative for what we have gotten from Brock Lesnar. Of course, the second run more than the first, but he's been doing this for so long now. I saw a clip that was on. I was scrolling through Twitter, and it was like 19 years ago, Rey Mysterio and Brock Lesnar were fighting on SmackDown. They were doing something, and
Yeah.
it's like we knew, we put it in our mind, like, yeah, like they've been doing this for like since 2002. But when you put it in your mind, like 19, almost 20 years, like consistently, and dude's just he's an unreal athlete. Like anything, he's done everything: WWE, UFC, NFL. Guy's just literally a freak in nature.
Yep. Yeah,
it,
dude,
it was
honestly.
so Yeah, it was so cool to be there for whenever he returned to SummerSlam. Me and three of my friends, we went, and we got our reaction to Brock on video because one of our friends, Justin, is a huge Roman fan, and he wanted to get the celebration. We weren't expecting Brock to come out, so Brock comes out, man, and like you said, he's such a big star. Everybody in there went crazy. He exudes stardom, superstardom.
Yeah, I got chills when he came out at SummerSlam against Rollins in like what was it, like 2019, I think, in Toronto. And like I just remember explaining, like I talked to my grandparents the next day and I was like, that guy is a walking fridge. Like he's massive. Like he is huge. I seen him come in and I got chills. I'm like that music hits, it's different. Like
Yeah,
it's different when Brock Lesnar comes out, bro. You're like genuinely like you get a little scared. You're like, I hope this dude doesn't get crazy and starts hopping over and beating people
it's
because
like
this
somebody's
dude's
gonna
gonna
get messed up.
somebody's about to get hurt. And that's what it should do. When you have a star like that, when you have somebody like Brock, when he comes out, everybody's on guard. You're at the ready. Like, I don't care what people call it, fake, scripted, whatever it is. When Brock Lesnar came out, I'm like, oh, he's gonna about to hurt someone. Like Seth Rollins about to go to the hospital tonight. You know what I mean? But I don't know. That's why I love Brock. We could go into it. Like there's just another level of respect that I have for Brock Lesnar. He's one of my favorites ever. And it only really started happening the last few years that I was like, whoa, like I'm a huge Brock Lesnar fan. Like this guy's just he brings it every time. So um yeah, I
He
mean
did
this
go
is
through a little. Oh, sorry. Go
no
ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
He did go through a little bit of I don't know what to call, like a slump era, I guess, especially whenever he was facing Ambrose at WrestleMania. Like I went to WrestleMania, and that was the biggest like attraction for me. Like I wanted to see that match so badly, and then that I don't think he really wanted to do too much that night and around that era. But like he's really picked it up again over the past couple of years, especially like the stuff with Drew McIntyre he did and the stuff he's been doing with Roman. He's got a new look. I think if they keep him around, I think he'll definitely probably be back and have another match with Roman at the Rumble. Keep him around and keep him a babyface. Let him see what he can do as a babyface. Just let him go out there and have fun.
Yeah, because he's over. Like the guy, he's so over. It doesn't matter what he does. Like as a baby face, he works. Like it just works. It doesn't matter what he does. I think from now on, he'll always just be a baby face. Like I don't really think that you can have heel Brock unless you like the thing against Kofi. That like was the only time I felt like there was genuine heat against him because like nobody wanted it to end like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where he just
that's
beats
still
Kofi Mania in 9 seconds. Like I was like,
yeah.
dude, they built up Kofi so much, and then Brock just comes in and absolutely demolishes him. That was so sad, but that's
Kofi just jumped
real
straight
heat.
on his back.
Yeah, Kofi just was like, I don't know what he was going for, but that man was going for like a suplex or like a whatever. I don't know what he was going for, but like he was going to like reverse a suplex in midair or something. Like I don't know what he was trying to do, but yeah, that was not his best move. I don't know what he was really going for, but that's the storytelling part of it, I guess. It's just, oh, Brock beat him so quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
All
Kofi
for a Cain
Mania.
Velasquez match, and Cain Velasquez didn't even end up staying.
Which kind of sucked because Cain Velasquez apparently actually could really wrestle. Like they were like showing him like he did like some stuff in AAA or something with a mask on, and he actually looked pretty decent. But they wanted him to be a street fighter, UFC, whatever. So I don't know. Bringing him in with Ray, I actually thought it could work. I was like, okay, Ray's got a bodyguard type thing, you know, and then it just didn't work.
I think he
But
was in the Royal Rumble this year, wasn't he? I think that was the last time we saw him. I feel like he was in the Royal Rumble.
was he was he in the Rumble? Was he in the Rumble? No, because the one that Drew won, he wasn't in that Rumble.
It would have been the Thunderdome Rumble, the one that Edge won.
No, I don't think he was in that. Was he? Was he? That would have, dude.
I
He would
could
have
be
had to have
wrong.
re-signed to another contract because they released him before that match.
Yeah, I just feel like I saw him in do like a Royal Rumble match specifically. I
Dude,
guess I'm tripping. Yeah,
I don't think he was. I don't think he was, dude. I think the last time we seen him literally was against Brock. Like, I don't think he did anything after that.
yeah, yeah.
Because
Somebody in the comments, let me know because
yeah,
that's
somebody let us know there because honestly, that's kind of disappointing that we can't even remember what he did. But like, um,
such a forgettable run.
yeah, I mean, I think that we went for quite a bit here. I think that we've got a ton of different ideas that we want to hit as soon as possible. We've got some fantasy booking type stuff that we're really excited about. So, like that stuff, low key might take over the show at some points. But these conversations are so easy. Like that was like that seemed like it was like 15 minutes, but I think it's been like 40 minutes. So,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely let us know down below what you guys think of the first episode. Again, this is like not really brand new for us because we've done this so many times before, but like this is obviously a brand new show. So let us know what you guys think. Do you got any closing statements or anything you got to say?
not that I can think of right now. Just thank you guys for listening. If you did, we hope you continue to listen, and we're really excited for you to see what's to come.
Yeah, exactly, man. We're definitely both excited for this. And yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do, share. I don't know. We're gonna be on different platforms. Again, this is just the first episode. So hopefully you guys enjoy. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode or whatever we want to call this. Peace.